The Radio Misfits Podcast Network.
Hello, y'all. Welcome to Jackalope Tales, urban legends and music, where we uncover, is it real or is it a jackalope tale? I'm your host, Charles Mooney.
And I'm Lisa Umbarger. And Charles and I were two of the founding members. One of two. We're a pair. We come as a pair. We're two of the founding members of the Toadies.
It's like we've signed to a major label and
Two
you
for one.
kicked me out.
No, it is. It's kind of like that, isn't it? They wanted me, not you. I'm sorry about that. Move along.
I know you kept giving me wrong phone numbers,
Right.
wrong addresses.
Right.
I didn't know where to go.
Hey, you need to show up for your costume tailoring because you're going to be wearing this back end of a donkey.
Always the ass. But that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
So we are delving into a couple artists that went major
Right.
and basically
Kind of
went downhill.
blew up. And I saw there is on NPR, there's a show called The Moth. It's a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And people go on there and tell their stories. And I saw one of Liz Phair.
Yeah.
And Liz Phair was talking about when she moved from an indie label to a major label. And I never kick any band in the nuts for moving to a major label because I think most people want to be successful as a band and want the most people to hear their music.
Sure.
And the way to get distribution and radio for a long time was major labels.
Right. I remember with Liz is that first album she came out with, The Exile to Guyville.
Yeah.
That was one of those albums that had 5-star ratings.
Yeah.
And just big comments about how good it was.
Yes.
And that really helped to get her onto the major label. And then there was just like disappearance.
Well, women, I think, have it harder than men,
True.
especially bands. So she had a band, but she was the front person.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to change her hair and make her look more pretty. And she's an indie artist. She plays guitar.
Right.
She didn't want to do all of that. So she went along with it, played along. Her want to be successful backfired because what she wanted and what the label wanted was very different. They wanted this beautiful girl that they could put lipstick on and push her up front. So her unraveling came during Rockefeller Christmas the Christmas tree lighting.
Such a happy event.
Right, I know.
That's when your career tanks.
Exactly. So they told her that she couldn't have her band. They were going to play to a backing track. She didn't have her guitar, which is kind of her touchstone.
Sure.
She's always been known as a person who kind of has a little bit of stage fright anyway.
Yeah.
And she didn't get to really rehearse with this backing track. And it's in headphones and not on floor monitors.
Signing your death wish.
Yes.
Oh,
and it's
damn.
on live TV. And
Oh.
she went right from, makeup, get your hair done, put on the sweater and look beautiful and lipstick, goodbye. And they stuck her in front of some cameras and they're hot. And she's got the
in-ears.
Yeah.
And it's just.
And she came in with vocals at the wrong time.
Oh.
And deer in the headlights, all she could think, because they told her right before she went on, remember, 40 million people are watching you. And blink, she just fucked up and froze. Because when she realized that she didn't come in at the right part.
Right.
She kept singing some of the words over and over again. And then she's finally like, fuck it, stopped and just sat there. And then she realized where the song was. And she was going to come back in and she couldn't remember the words.
Oh, shit.
Because she kept thinking, there's 40 million people watching me totally bomb. Because it was live.
Oh, it's like watching a first grade play
where
the kid just totally just freezes.
Yes.
Oh.
And
now, have you actually seen video of this?
Yes, it's horrible.
Oh, you just feel so sick.
I remember when it happened too. And I remember laughing, going, oh, what the fuck?
way to kick Liz
I
while
know,
she's down.
because it was huge news.
Yeah.
It was covered in Rolling Stone, and I think the Today Show even covered something like that. Like,
Oh.
it was a big reason. And everyone's like, it's a joke on all late night TV and everything, how Liz Phair just totally shit the bed.
And if anyone didn't know about Liz, now they know her as the one that
Yeah, the
fucked
one
up.
fucked up Christmas. Not just froze on TV. She fucked up Christmas. She fucked up a major holiday. And
Damn.
and hearing her tell this story, I'm just like, oh God, because I dogpiled. But I never did consider her a sellout. I never did. I liked her albums.
Yeah.
I liked her. I liked her.
Now, the reason for her sudden disappearance decline, was it because she just got so fucked up by the experience that she pulled away? Or was the
part of it.
label even like,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes
you're
and
not,
yes.
you're a liability.
They're like, we have this person and she can't do the things that we want her to do. Like, what are we going to do for the Super Bowl now? Or what, they can't parade her like a prized pig out around like they want. And so she wasn't who they thought she was, didn't want to be that. And so she's like, yeah, fuck this. But I think she could have turned that into the most punk rock thing ever.
Yeah.
If she wanted to bring the indie people in who said she was a sellout, because they did. She took a lot of flack from people saying she was a sellout. And in fact, everyone, the people who wanted her to go to a major label and the people who said she was a sellout dogpiled on her when she did that for different reasons.
Right.
One saying, well, she's a sellout, and then she tries to do that. She can't do it. See, fuck you, Liz. And then the other ones are just like, ooh. Anyway, but she could have turned it into the most FU fucking punk rock thing ever. She just she just made up a bunch of punk rock lyrics and did it. She's about selling out and being in a camera and whatever. I think she could have made it really cool.
Yeah. No, and being punk, when I was younger, of course, there was that stigma of, wait, my favorite band is going to a major label. And sure, I had that attitude of like, oh God, they're selling out. But then as I got older, it's like, yeah, I guess they do need to make a living.
Yeah, go get your money. Well,
so,
I think that it's precedent because we understood on some level as a fan that if they went to a major label, that things were going to change and they were going to get screwed. We as a fan were going to get screwed out of what we loved about the band, which I think that happened to Liz in a way. I can name a million other bands that it happened to where they signed to a major label and they tried to make them something they weren't. And the next album just kind of sucked. But it wasn't the band's fault necessarily for trying to propel their career. It's because they stepped into a snake pit and the record label didn't understand them and tried to change them. You think about Rancid. They signed to a major label and people said they sold out and everything, but Ruby Solo, I like that song.
No, that is a good one. It sounds like Rancid.
It still sounds like Rancid. And they're one of the bands that totally got kicked in the nuts. Well, I mean, because they were full on punk rock, whatever. And I don't feel like they changed too much. There could be people who disagree with me, but their album cover and everything looked like a Rancid album cover. They didn't get cleaned up. They probably went into a nicer studio.
But you got to be careful when that label's paying you and then they start coming up with their ideas.
Yeah.
Of how you should look, how you should sound.
I feel sorry for Liz because her career did implode. And I think it was mostly her just like leave, she's like, I can't do this anymore. And that was she had a life realization sitting there in front of the hot lights and was like, yeah, I'm done.
Oh, yeah. And to already have issues with being in the public eye.
Right. But I think the time is ripe for her to come back because we have all the female singer-songwriters. They're really popular right now.
Yeah.
Come on, Liz, come back and
He's listening, so.
I hope so.
Listen to Lisa.
Do some stuff.
Yeah. And the one I'm talking about today was a band I really wasn't even familiar with. And when I mentioned to you who I was talking about, you're like, oh, I love Badfinger. Because when I read about Badfinger's experience, of course, my brain's going, Badfinger. And I'm like, is it like bad English or some of that crap? But no, we're going back into the 60s.
Yeah.
And so I was amazed at this story.
They were all over the radio. They were pretty big.
Yeah, they did have one of the most cursed careers in rock history. That is what is insane about this. I mean, they had the looks, they had the sound, they had the Beatles backing them. And yet Badfinger still ended up dead broke, betrayed, and buried in lawsuits.
Holy shit.
Do you even know the story behind this?
No, I don't.
Holy hell.
I
Oh,
don't.
man.
I just know the music.
Yeah. It's the story of how a band with the Midas touch, because I mean, they were really catapulting, and it could have helped with, I mean, of course, with a Beatles support, but they ended up signing their own death certificate, which really was a record deal. And so it's going back to the late 60s. You've got Apple Records,
Yep.
which of course is
The
known
Beatles.
as the Beatles record label. And it's where Badfinger got their big break, kind of in a way, because what's funny is back before they were signed to Apple Records, they were called the Ivies.
I did not know that.
And Apple signed them on the strength of some of their decent demos. And the label thought, hey, these could be our baby Beatles. I mean, just someone who can kind of take the next step for us.
Right.
And of course, they wanted them to be renamed because Ivy sounded like a girl group. So they changed it to Badfinger, which is kind of actually a cool name.
It's
for
really
back then.
punk rock.
It really
man.
is.
Yeah.
And they slapped their song Come and Get It on the radio. And when I saw the title, I was like, now I know who this is. But in fact, Come and Get It was written by Paul McCartney.
Oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
It totally sounds like it.
They didn't even write their own breakout hit, but who cared? I mean, because it charted. I mean, it got them noticed.
I can't see the Beatles singing that.
No, it was too poppy, especially in the late 60s with them doing all the experimental stuff.
What did I tell you about Badfinger? How
Let's
did I
see.
describe them to you?
Oh, you described them as kind of a heavier monkeys.
Yes, that's what I considered them as a kid. I did not like the monkeys. I was one of the kids that hated the monkeys and didn't like the show. But Badfinger, and when I first heard it, I thought I was like, oh, maybe the monkeys put out a good album, a good song, right? I heard it, and then I found out it was Badfinger. I was like, oh, okay, because I thought it was just like a better monkeys.
Yeah,
because they have that pop, real pop mentality.
Just the catchy song and all that kind of stuff. But it had a little bit of an edge to it. They were rising stars on Apple Records. Their second single, No Matter What, was a hit. Then you had Day After Day and Baby Blue following. Yep. So they're churning the hits out. And in fact, Baby Blue has become popular more recently because in the Breaking Bad last episode when, what's his name?
White?
Yeah. When he has been shot and Walter's laying on the ground, then he smiles on his face and that song comes on, which is really cool for that. But they were riding high. They were writing hits. George Harrison even produced one of their records. But
I'm so glad I didn't know the Beatles connection. As a kid, that would have tainted
would have
it.
churned.
Yeah, as a kid, I would have gone, no, I'm done.
You'd have been like, oh, fuck this.
But I thought they were a great pop band. I liked them.
Well, see, now you've got a little Beatle chain going.
Yep.
But underneath all this glitter and excitement, the storm was building because enter the stage is Stan Pauly. He is Badfinger's new American manager. And so
so he's an American?
Yes. Yeah. So
leave it to the Yanks to screw things up.
And basically Stan is like Satan with a briefcase and a Brooklyn accent. That's his style. He strutted in promising the moon more money, more exposure, more control over your own destiny, which basically in the music business means sign this and shut up. But Stan Pauly created a maze of shell companies and publishing deals, and then he stashed the band's money in shady holding companies that only he controlled.
Oh my God.
So every royalty check is rerouted through Polly's personal Bermuda Triangle.
How did he get away with this? Like, papers have to be signed and things.
It's-
You've signed papers
Right.
for that. It's very tightly held.
Oh, I know, but who can imagine? Because I mean, he promised them so much. Did they just blindly sign? I don't know. So how?
But I mean, you
even...
can call up the publisher and get in.
I don't know.
There's ways to do this. Like, I have conversations with my publisher a lot about things, and they send you paperwork every quarter that you got to look at and verify.
Who knows? I mean, maybe just hidden in the paperwork, some thick document. But one of his companies that he created, one of his shell companies, was literally called Badfinger Enterprises Incorporated.
Yeah.
And guess who wasn't listed as an officer? No one from the band.
See, I don't. That is so crazy. What did they sign? I feel so bad for
to
this.
be set up like this. So here their records are selling millions and they saw almost nothing. So Apple Records here is falling apart, lawsuits and fighting. This is when the Beatles were breaking up.
Right.
Meanwhile, Badfinger jumped ship to Warner Brothers. And so it was that timing of it. So they were hoping things would finally make sense. But guess who followed them to Warner Brothers? Polly did. And Warner Brothers gave the band, and think about in this era, and then
holy fuck.
Yeah.
Was that early 70s?
Very early 70s.
That is a lot of money.
Is no shit.
Never trust anyone named Polly, kids. Never.
No, Stan Polly.
That is a lot of money.
Exactly. So Warner Brothers gave them the advance, and then it ends up being they have to ask Stan, Warner Brothers does, where the hell the money went, because no one has it. And he wouldn't answer because it was missing. And like dissolved in offshore bank accounts kind of missing. The label freaked out, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And they sued the band. I know. Let it sink in. They sued the band for their manager's theft. They pulled the plug on Badfinger's album Wish You Were Here just weeks after its release. It came out, and then copies were literally yanked from the store shelves. And the tour collapsed, their income stopped,
right?
Royalty checks were frozen, and the band started to realize that they were broke while listening to their songs play on the radio every single day.
So I want to go back to this. So you get an advance.
Yeah.
The record company they don't have any say in what you do with that money. They don't have any fucking say. If they give you $3 million, if they give you $1 million, if you want to do blow with all of it, you do blow with all of it. They can't tell you what to do with their money. So why did they even have a fucking
Why
say?
did this even get that
right,
far?
because it's not like they're expecting you to use that money to tour.
Right.
You can do what you want. We bought a van with ours.
Yeah.
And we upgraded our equipment, but we didn't have to.
I can't answer that.
So
I don't know how.
Because they give you tour support.
It is an advance. It's just like you come to us, here's your money.
They take it out of your royalties off the top before anything happens. You've got to pay that back, but that's not.
Who knows?
They can't tell you what to fucking do with it.
Maybe because it was so much. I know what you mean, but did it?
So they don't even have grounds to sue the band is where I'm going. I hate record companies.
No, I got
They don't have. Warner Brothers is one of the worst. And
I don't even know I wasn't able to find if the lawsuit, I mean, surely it didn't.
I mean, Warner Brothers hasn't been relevant since Bugs Bunny.
Oh, that was so good. Yeah.
They were good at cartoons. They should have stopped there. Fuck everything else because they screwed everyone else up.
Oh, yeah. And here's actually some dark stuff that
Oh,
happened
God.
with
Okay,
this.
let's go.
So on April 24, 1975, lead singer and songwriter Pete Ham, he hung himself in the garage.
Oh, God.
And he left a note, and in it, he called Stan Polly a soulless bastard and said he couldn't support his family. And guess what age he was? 27. So he became a member of the 27 Club. So, but that's not the end of it. The curse kept going. The band tried to soldier on without Pete, but nothing stuck. And in 1983, guitarist and co-writer Tom Evans, who'd co-written Without You, which is the song Mariah Carey turned into a multi-platinum ballad, he hung himself.
Did they later resolve anything where he was getting royalties from Mariah Carey's version?
Probably not.
Because if they fucked with the publishing, that money was probably going still away from him.
With the contract with whatever had been signed. He and Pete had written that song together in the 70s. It was a global hit, but just not for them. So that answers it right there.
Good Lord.
And their version barely charted because they actually performed it. Nilsson had the big hit, then Mariah Carey had the big hit, and Badfinger just ended up with trauma. There were lawsuits, tribute bands, and fighting over the name, and still no compensation for anything. Only tragedy and the echoes of songs that never got paid for.
This is so freaking sad.
I know, that's why I wanted to start, so you could at least maybe lighten it up a little bit. But I mean, this is almost like a Shakespearean tale.
Why would the Polly estate to fucking have to make some kind of why hasn't their family sued then? You would think if it was a death like that. So they must have signed something that was ironclad, but it seems like a court, especially in the United States, wouldn't uphold some of it because they were young. So if he was 27 when
27 in 1975.
Right. So they were still young.
Yeah.
It seems but you have to have money to sue people.
So late 60s, he's 19 years old.
Good Lord, man.
I mean, that could be some of the answer as to how that all happened. So it's just like,
and this is just one of many stories like that happened.
Oh, it is.
Don't get me started on the Toadies manager.
Oh, I know all about that.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And the Butthole Surfers, Toadies and the Butthole Surfers got screwed, and we were grown-ass adults.
Oh, so, I know. Don't say anything. We're not big enough to be sued.
Yep.
That's a whole other story. You can ask Lisa when you see her at a concert.
We'll do that off the record in person.
Yeah, we don't want any tracking of that story.
Good Lord.
But
look it up in courts, and you'll see what a turd exists in the world. That's all I'm going to say.
Damn managers.
Yep.
But now you're talking about two bands that I really loved.
Me too.
These were fucking cool bands. And I'm trying to remember what label they were on when
they
this
on
came out.
Cargo?
Yes.
They were on Cargo.
Memory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rocket from the Crypt and Drive Like Jehu.
Oh.
And probably not very many people know who this is, but good Lord, go freaking find their record.
Please do.
Both bands. And they're both very different, except for one thing. They both have the same guitarist. So John Reese is the one who is, so he's the singer and guitar player for Rocket from the Crypt and the guitar player in Drive Like Jehu.
Yep.
So after Nirvana had their big hit and went through the roofs in the early 1990s, every record company was trying to sign the next Nirvana.
It was a shit show.
Oh my God.
Who was signed. It was just like they were just scraping up anyone.
There were so many bands signed, and it was crazy.
I mean, my God, Helmet going from Amphetamine Reptile Records.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that because they also signed to Interscope. And I know a lot about this because we were on Interscope.
Yeah.
Some really great bands were signed, Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots, who I never really did get into. So for me, I know this is really weird and people are going to probably come kick me in the crotch about this, but Alice in Chains and Stone Temple Pilots, to me, they both sound alike.
Mm,
Do they sound alike to you? And I've seen them both live, and if
yeah.
I close my eyes, except that I know the songs, it
I
sounds
mean,
kind of the same.
vocal styles to me are a little bit different, but I kind of get what you're saying.
Right.
Though.
There wasn't a whole lot of deviation in sound with some of those bands. They kept signing all these quote unquote grunge bands.
And that's the sound the label would have wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
I never did get into Pearl Jam. And actually, it's funny because I am now, because they toured and all of my friends went to the show and are huge Pearl Jam fans. And I started going back and listening. And now, in retrospect, they're a really great band. And I've seen them live a few times. They were good.
And I've always appreciated their DIY attitude.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, they're like, fuck you all.
Yes.
We're doing everything the way we want.
Yeah. As people, love them. But my favorite that came out of that time was definitely Soundgarden.
Yeah.
That's the one where it's just like probably the best rock and roll voice ever. There's, Led Zeppelin and Soundgarden. Those are, to me, the rock and roll blueprint.
Because they were on Sub Pop. A lot of those bands got scooped up. And
I think they pretty much signed everyone who was on Sub Pop for a while there.
But Soundgarden, their records on A&M are just...
They're good. Yeah. So all of the bands that started getting signed and all of this, and the Toadies actually are one. We benefited from Nirvana for one of those bands. In fact, we had the grunge moniker for forever, and we're like, we're not grunge. We don't even wear flannel. We would wear jorts.
I know.
We wore jorts and t-shirts.
Well, don't wear flannel in Texas. No. That'd be a dumbass idea.
We'd stink really bad.
Yeah.
It would be horrible. It'd stink worse than we do.
It's for hygiene. Yeah.
But, something good happened for a lot of the bands. One of the best bands that's forgotten, I think, is the Screaming Trees also. I think they were really, really good.
Yeah.
And because they got in this giant cloud of all the other grunge bands, they were forgotten. So I think because there were so many bands that were signed and so many labels that signed, A&M signed a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers signed a bunch of them. But a lot of them, because they had so many of these bands they signed right away, they didn't have enough money to push all of them. They had to pick.
Saturated market.
Yes, very saturated. Although it was a saturated rock market, which for the consumer, fuck yeah.
Yeah, no,
it's really good
to be able to know all about those bands.
So some of the bands that got crushed under the wheels would have been Rocket from the Crypt and Drive Like Jehu.
Yeah,
they signed to Interscope Records, which at the time Interscope was a major player, and they were considered a major indie at the time. So they had major label money, but they were still considered kind of indie, which is interesting. So they just signed Helmet. Then they signed Rocket from the Crypt and Drive Like Jehu. And that is exactly the reason why I wanted to sign to Interscope. The Toadies probably would not have signed to Interscope Records if they had not signed Rocket and Jehu. Because I saw that and was like, oh, fuck. If these people are going after riff bands, they understand rock. And if they can freaking understand the genius of Rocket and Jehu and Helmet,
it's a great company to be in. No kidding.
Because at the time, Interscope was the first one who threw their hat in the ring for us. And everyone else, we did not listen to them because those are the same people that turned us down. They're like, fuck you. We're going with this really fucking cool up and coming label. And, who had they had before? They had Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. And they had Gerardo. Remember him?
Oh, damn.
Right.
You didn't want to be in that company?
Before. But also Interscope had the rap royalty. They had Tupac, they had Snoop, they had Dre. So they had Death Row Records also. So Interscope was pretty freaking cool at the time. And, whatever they did to the Toadies and all that stuff, I think it was a two-way street for part of it. But for the most part, I think they understood musicians better than most labels at the time. And they had the money to do something with it, which is really important. So John Reese, who I said, he's the singer, guitar player for Rocket and guitarist for Drive Up. John negotiated a deal with Interscope when they signed Rocket. that said they had to also sign Jehu. So Interscope was after Rocket. They wanted Rocket from the Crypt.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, but we'll take Jehu. We like him, right? But there's no way Jehu's going to make a radio-friendly record.
Right.
Rocket, I mean, they had some sweet little...
The songs were really
they were
crafted.
Yeah, brain worms get stuck in your head and you'll see, So anyway, Rocket had some success and got some radio play with Scream Dracula Scream. But again, Jehu's just not a radio-friendly band.
Mm-hmm.
They're fucking great.
I know, that's what makes them so good.
So while on Interscope, Jehu recorded the masterpiece, Yank Crime. That album, anyone who's listening who wants to hear some freaking heavy, good riff guitar music, Yank Crime, it is so good. It is timeless. It is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Here's the wonderful thing. Interscope gave them money to make that freaking record. Didn't fuck it up. Let them make this masterpiece. Didn't come in and go, yeah, could you change this up? They gave them money and they got to make that record. Oh my God. Yeah, they didn't say that.
No shit.
So I'm going to give Interscope the
big kudos for that.
So way to go. Thumbs up Interscope on this one. So Rocket released their second album, RFTC.
Mm-hmm.
So despite critical acclaim, the album just didn't do well.
No.
So think about what's going on at the time that album came out. The Toadies are getting popular. If you just look at what's on Interscope.
Sure.
So they had, no doubt, Bush, Toadies.
Yeah.
Who else was on there at the time? There was like 5 other bands that were hitting on Interscope. I mean, it was every single band had a hit on the radio, it seemed.
Right.
And so who gets left behind?
Mm-hmm.
Rocket.
Yeah.
And which is sad. Fucking sad that Bush got pushed and not Rocket.
God.
Anyway.
It's almost like they gave all these bands, because there's so many of them, one chance.
Yeah, that's all you got.
And it's like, put that album out, and then it's like meeting at the gate. And if you can't even get past the gatekeeper, then you're out.
So here's what happened at Interscope. It was one shot and you're out, because they had so many good bands on that label. Gwen Stefani. And if you weren't Gavin, nothing was happening for you because they were pushing their personal lives too. Toadies did not want their personal lives pushed in that way, nor did we look like that, because we weren't People magazine fodder.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Neither was Rocket. But they had these 2 pretty faces that they could go, well, if they date, this is the perfect thing for us. And there was, whatever.
Yeah. Our personal lives aren't appealing.
Right. At all.
No.
At all. In fact, you listen to them here and hopefully you're not completely bored. Do you want to hear about us? No, you want to hear about Rocket from the fucking Crypt.
Yes.
So here's, despite all the critical acclaim, the album not doing well, Interscope had this habit of trying to push other bands by making label mates play together.
Oh, you experienced that.
I.e. Toadies had to play with Bush a lot.
Yes.
Which we fucking hated, but it kept happening even though we're like, we're gonna fucking say bad things in the press. And they're like, we'll send you to Hawaii. And we're like, okay, we'll shut up. We were so easily bribed. Seriously, that happened. That totally happened. They flew us to Hawaii to make us shut up about Bush. So we had like 2 weeks in Hawaii, like on the record company's tab.
Yeah.
And we did a spin interview. Anyway, don't get me
too
it was
nice.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what a sellout.
So the same thing happened. I know, right?
But I take the trip.
Easily bribed. Come on. And in fact, if anyone wants to bribe me right now with trips to Hawaii,
it's like, let's make a deal. Do you want to talk bad about Bush, or do you want what's behind curtain number 3?
I'll take curtain number 3. Is it Hawaii?
It's Hawaii.
Then let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a new car.
Yes. A ghost.
Which is really funny because the first time we got a tour bus.
Yeah.
So the first time with Bush to get us to go back on tour, we got a tour bus. The second time it was Hawaii. It really was like a game
It
show.
really was Let's Make
Oh,
a Deal. Y'all were a part of the game show.
I didn't even get to meet Monty Hall.
Did you have a paper clip in your purse?
I
Get $500.
I have this hard-boiled egg.
I always carry it.
There was one time I did see that someone had a hard-boiled egg. What the fuck?
On the game show?
Yeah. Anyway, so let's go back. So let's go back to this, which is still, it still relates back to the hard-boiled egg, though, because something stinky happened.
We're making a circle around. Yeah.
So poor Rocket had to go out and play this showcase thing with Bush.
Oh, God. You know what they're going through.
So Bush was the headliner. Rocket opened and, of course, smoked them.
Yeah.
I mean, how could they not? Because Gavin could barely play his guitar. During the Label Mate show, Gavin was on the side of the stage watching Rocket.
Uh-huh.
And one of the horn players saw Gavin on the side of the stage and went over and blew the trumpet right in Gavin's face.
Oh, wouldn't he be?
Yeah, he was like, you little teabag.
Yes.
So he blew it right in his face, in his ear. And Gavin said that it damaged his hearing. And he had trouble hearing that night.
Oh, no.
This poor little English ear hurt.
He probably ran to the manager
You know what?
crying.
If there's not blood coming out of your ear, you're okay, buddy. So he said that for the rest of the night, it messed up his show because they didn't do well. I think they didn't do well because Gavin got blown away by Rocket.
Exactly.
That he couldn't hear.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in Bush and he's Gavin. That's why they didn't play well.
Of course.
They sucked. So everything wasn't zen. And Gavin threw a giant fit and went to the record company and bitched about Rocket from the Crypt.
God.
And this was on their second record. So it's always sketchy what could happen because Interscope was releasing a bunch of bands at the time. Rocket from the Crypt was caught up in all of that. Reverend Horton Heat was released from the label.
Right.
There were a bunch of bands that were just let go during this like 3-month period.
Yeah.
Rocket was one of them that they let go. And the excuse was, you were mean to Gavin. And your record sales aren't great, but we're not going to push this record anymore. It was just a baby record. They still could have done something.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
It was highly acclaimed.
Oh, it was.
You could go on that and push and make some stuff happen. Go on late night TV shows because people are going to get Rocket on there.
Right.
So, yeah. So basically they were released from Interscope and the band disbanded shortly after. Jehu had already disbanded. They put out Yank Crime and a year later they're done. Yeah. They had already quit. So basically John didn't have to worry about Jehu. And I can't imagine having two bands on a major label trying to push both of them. I mean, you'd have to play together because you couldn't go on separate tours.
Yeah, you're right.
So the coolest part about this story is both bands escaped the shadow of major label sellout. Their fans were really freaking cool with all of this.
Never thought of them as
and it's
sellouts.
because their sounds stayed the same.
Exactly.
And I think their sounds stayed the same because Interscope let them.
Yeah. No, it seems like that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, we had our issues with our second record in Interscope not releasing it because they wanted hits. But the first record, we had to take each song and we took it apart and put it back together a million different ways. And they wanted us to go through the motions of doing that. But when we came back to it, none of the songs changed from their original way that we wrote them.
Right.
So they let us record the record that we wanted to record. We had to play along for a minute and try the songs out with different arrangements and shit. I hated that.
That's
really
true, because every song that I was in with you all on that album, I can play it exactly to the album. So no, it didn't change.
Yeah.
What were they doing? No. Were they just putting y'all through like
I think that
a hazing? Band hazing?
Kinda. I really do think so because we spent 2 weeks taking songs apart and it was grueling in rehearsal studios doing this.
Just redundancy, doing the same
We'd stay on one
over.
song like for a day and take it apart a million different ways. And by the time we were done, our brains were torched. But I think that they did that. So when we went in the studio, we knew we already knew the songs, but we could play them in our sleep, backwards, behind our back, whatever.
So you can see a point to that.
Yeah, I really could.
Okay,
Because when we went in the studio, a lot of our songs, we did not do second takes. We just recorded.
Well,
And we did overdubs and stuff,
yeah.
but we laid down the skeleton track, kind of like an AC/DC record. That's how we wanted to do it. The drums and bass, we pretty much got first take every single time. And that's the way we recorded it because we were so freaking tight. So when we went on the road, we were doing pretty good live. Anyway, as much as I kick record companies in the crotch, this is where I'm going to say Interscope did a good job. They let artists be artists for the longest time. I think Bush and No Doubt fucked Interscope up because they had these different kinds of hits and Interscope started chasing that People magazine bullshit.
Yes.
Instead of what they started with.
And it's always a good feeling that Bush fell off the planet.
My God, I know, right?
What was it after that? Just that one big album, then they tried something else, and then it was like
they had they did 3 albums.
But I don't
Razor
think
Blade Suitcase. None of the other ones did as good as 16 Stone.
So,
but yeah, Razor Blade Suitcase. I can't remember what the other one is. And at the time, Death Row was collapsing. Tupac had gone away. So, and yeah, there were a bunch of things that were happening at the label. And I wish that they had stayed true to themselves of what their first initial thing was to be a major indie.
Yeah.
I think that they would have been one of the last surviving record companies. They signed on with Universal and became Universal Music Group. Yeah. So now all those bands are Universal Music Group and they signed U2 right after we left, U2 and all this other shit. They lost their way.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the major labels, when they started bringing all those alternative grunge bands on, didn't really know how to handle it. So some of them, like you said, would try to mold them into something else or just let them do what they wanted to. And then they're trying to the labels are trying to figure it out as they go along. And sadly, a lot of bands get dropped off because they don't know how to always handle it.
There was a spring, I remember, where it was pretty much the giant cleanse where hundreds and hundreds of bands were released from all the major labels because the record companies were collapsing. Reverend Horton Heat getting dropped was one of those. We made it through that cut. I remember holding my breath for a while because we were making our second record and I was like, fuck, are we going to make it? Because, our buddies just got dropped.
Yes. You're just waiting for the pink slip.
Yeah. And I remember calling our A&R guy, Ray, and I was like, do we make it? Are we good? And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, you're good. You're fine. And I was like, we are? And like, I like just talking about it, I feel some anxiety because it was scary then.
Yeah.
You're seeing all your buddies getting dropped and they're hanging on to, Gavin.
No. Yeah.
Gross.
The road is fucked up when you're having to go down that road.
Praise God, Rocket from the Crypt and Jehu, I think, are back out playing music again.
Shit.
At least they've done a couple of shows. I know that Jehu got together in like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
And I think Rocket is playing some shows recently.
God,
so
don't miss
if we got some new music from either of those bands, I would be stoked. But I think the time is ripe for both. Let's get some rock music back.
Exactly.
What do we need from the 90s to come back? Liz Phair, she could do well.
Yeah, I really think you're right.
And if we could get Rocket and Jehu back.
Let's just bring the whole 90s back.
I'm so tired of non-rock
Does that mean
music.
we need to go back?
Let's do something. Tell us what you want us to do, people.
Yeah. Now, whenever you start to think about Bush and want to say something bad, I can play the kazoo for you.
Okay.
That will soothe you. Don't be so aggressive.
And they are my ultimate Lone Star Salute.
Yeah.
To rock music.
So true. And I bet Gavin hates the kazoo.
He hates anything that's not.
Well, the kazoo's probably bigger than he is.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And it's better.
Yes, by far.
It feels like small.
I don't mind blowing on the kazoo.
Yeah. Actually, the kazoo is more rock than he is, too. So we're at the point of the show where we're at the Lone Star Salute, people.
Here we are. We're talking about 1 stars from people or just critics that have said something a little bit negative
I'm
about.
one. I'm a critic.
Yeah, you are, but a constructive critic.
Right. I don't ever put it in writing.
You just don't say you well, no, sometimes you do say you're full of shit.
Yes, I do.
You suck.
I do.
Yeah, and you don't give a reason.
You're smaller than a kazoo. That's my review. Yeah, so we're going to read to you your 1-star review of anything that you hate that's music attached.
Music related.
Yep.
Shows, anything like that. And the one I've got is, it's one of those where I really find it funny because this is a review that came out in Rolling Stone.
Oh.
For Badfinger's album Straight Up.
Really?
Yeah, by Mike Saunders.
Yeah.
Now, this is one of those reviews where he slams it, but then years later, this album has been kind of recognized as their apex, their pinnacle album.
By musicians. Musicians hear it and go, oh, they had something.
Exactly. And so it's really funny to hear the comments because this is back in the early 70s. There just isn't any rock and roll spirit on this album. That magic Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, see? See, I said monkeys and he's saying it's kind of like Saturday morning.
Yeah. Whatever you want to call it, it's gone. Straight Up is completely devoid of the handful of energetic ravers Badfinger have included on previous albums, and which acted as keys to the music's overall vitality. There were many comparisons made of magic Christian music and No Dice to their 2 albums prior to the Beatles' Help period, and the analogies were apt. With Straight Up, Badfinger seems to have already reached the Beatles' Revolver stage, a stultifying self-conscious artiness, a loss of previous essential virtues, and far too much general farting around, which just goes to show, I guess, that the 1964-65 days of regular AM hits and an expected output of 3 albums a year from name groups were a lot healthier than we had ever dreamed. Yeah, it sure is disheartening to wait a whole year for an album as disappointing as this one.
No? Yeah. I want to criticize the review. The time of AM radio, where they recorded 3 albums a year.
Yes.
It's shit.
Yes.
I wouldn't spend your time, make a good record. Oh, I had to wait a whole year for a good record.
Do you remember the days when the artists were putting stuff out, churning it quick?
Right. First of all, I'm a kid and I don't have a lot of money and I can't buy 3 records a year of your stuff because I'm trying to buy other people's stuff too. And if you're all putting out 3 records, I can't get them and I'm disappointed as a consumer.
How long have we fucking waited for some of these artists to come out with stuff?
Fuck off.
Oh,
this guy's a spoiled little pretentious bitch who wrote for Rolling Stone. Fuck off.
I know. It's so nice when those reviews like that just end up being like a joke because of how the record ended up being. I want my
AM radio year. Fuck you, AM radio. Where are you now?
God. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, is this guy dead?
Because
I think streaming killed him. He was killed by... Has anyone ever died from streaming? Because I think they might have.
Oh, they could have. It hits that particular brainwave.
Right. And it's like... Handle it.
A streamer stroke. Yeah. Okay. What do you have?
Well, this is a very short review and it makes me laugh because it's so ridiculous. This is a review from Nathan, who is reviewing Circa Now from Rocket from the Crypt, which that's my favorite album of theirs. It's so good.
This is one of those where I can imagine it'd be hard to find a negative review.
God, I love Circa Now. Anyway, so Nathan goes on to say, I like all things related except this. I have nothing to relate to a consumer other than the fact that I like lots of other bands mentioned when speaking of this band. And I find these guys boring. Maybe further listening will change my opinion, but why are you even reading this? And this was on Amazon. This is a review on Amazon. And I'm thinking,
That's
and this was reviewed in 2014, which is a long time after the album came out because it came out in the 90s.
of course.
So Nathan's a TikTok kid.
Wow.
Probably. I was like,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
doesn't sound like I can make a TikTok to it. I mean,
Right.
I know 2014 TikTok didn't exist.
But people were probably starting to
Social
get that
media. He's a
attitude.
social media kid, and fuck
Yes.
off. Go make an Instagram post. Go make a story.
I know. Now I'm asking myself, why did I even read that?
Yeah. Yeah. Why am
'Cause
I
your
reading
opinion
this?
sucks.
Nathan, if that's even your real name.
Hey, we're bashing both.
I know, right?
And you said you usually don't do this,
Oh,
but
maybe
now we're
this is
bashing both.
This is going to be our thing now, I guess, is we're going to bash the reviews.
The 1-star.
Yeah. We're going to one up the 1-star.
We're gonna make it a 2-star.
Right.
That's good. Okay,
So-
we found a new way to deal with it.
You know what else is a new way to deal with it?
Oh,
It's the happy ending.
we've gone through a lot today.
Man, we took all the giant tour through management and record companies.
Took our stroll through the 90s.
Right.
Talking about all that.
Through
What
the
an
60s
era
and
for
70s.
us. Oh, yeah, we've really filled some decades in this
Yep.
episode.
We covered decades.
I'm tired. I know. We've done a lot of traveling.
So there's not a jackalope to Badfinger, even though I would love.
Oh, this is just
For
one
that
of
not
those
to be
stories where I know you almost wish it were, but there's sadly so much horrible truth to it.
Now I
And-
want to find out, though, did this manager even get karma?
Yeah, let's
Or
find out
anything.
about this.
Yeah,
manager.
I will look this up because, God, fuck that guy.
God,
It's making me mad for this band
I
and their
know.
families. I want their families to get some kind of,
Um,
they need karma.
Exactly, some retribution for
Yes.
this fuck up. And how did all that happen? Who knows?
Right.
That was just what's so sad.
Right. With mine, that really did. I mean, to me, not many things bad happened from Rocket and
Mhm.
Jehu. They made wonderful records. I'm sure it was probably hard getting dropped and bands breaking up and stuff, but they came out pretty much unscathed. In my opinion, they might have a different view. And the record company will not admit that Gavin fucked over Rocket.
Shit.
They said that it's record sales.
Yeah, if he tried to fuck you all over, he probably tried to fuck
Yeah.
a few people over.
But
Yeah.
and know that Gavin is one of those kind of guys.
Yes.
So anyway,
Short little kazoo
I
hater.
know, right?
Uh,
Yeah, teeny tiny Kazoo hater. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate all of y'all. And follow our links in our show notes to find us on all the socials.
yes, like, subscribe, rate, leave us reviews on Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts. New episodes every Wednesday.
Yep.
So if they want another dose of this hilarity, they know where to find us and on what day.
Right?
So,
And join us next time as we question, is it real or is it a jackalope tale?
or are we just
Or
getting
is it just a tiny Kazoo hating limey? Right. Remember when we used to say retard all the time?
Oh my God.
we
yeah.
can't even say that.
No, it's
And I got
slanderous.
I mean, all through middle school, that was my word. Now I can't say it. And I love small people wrestling, and I can't say midget wrestling anymore. Just all these things are taken away. Like,
It's a bad sign when all the things you like are getting taken away from you.
I'm a white privileged person. And it's,
Oh no, no.
and it's not like I'm tall or anything, so I feel like I'm talking about myself when I talk about the small people wrestling.
Yeah. I know. You
know,
miss those days. Being able to
sometimes-
call someone a retard.
sometimes. I'm not PC.
No.
I'm Apple.
Yeah. Good choice. All right. See what she rants about next week.
Hmm.
Bingo!
You don't see that every day.